Sarah is a wonderful lawyer. She's on the law review at Texas and so on. But to tell you a story, and I think I told you approximately a year ago,
Yeah.
all of our manuscripts, we had Sarah takes care of all of our manuscripts and all of our backup material. These include, hundreds and hundreds of
revisions.
footnotes and so on. We've gathered from all over the world. Well, all of a sudden, Sarah looks at her computer and someone's been looking at the computer at 4 o'clock in the morning. We contact the FBI.
And Jamie, I'm the only one that has access to the manuscript. John didn't even have access to it.
The next thing that happens is before the FBI can arrive, she goes back and everything's destroyed. It's all completely wiped out.
The manuscripts have been deleted, and I was very careful by saving them by date.
Just wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. Which manuscript?
The Dancer and the Devil, the book we're
This
discussing.
book.
The book that you're working on, somebody got to the manuscript and destroyed it in your computer?
That's correct.
In the cloud. It's all kept in the cloud.
That's correct. So we contacted the FBI. They had us consult a computer forensic expert. I turned over my hard drive to him, and he ran multitude of tests. It would determine that it was actually a breach through the cloud where I was saving the manuscript, not my hard drive or Wi-Fi system. There were 2 times it was breached. One, we think that they were searching for sources for our book, sources that remain anonymous for obvious reasons in our book. And then secondly, a few months later, when I opened the document to work on it, it had all been deleted. Probably the last 6 months of manuscripts had been deleted. And I would carefully save it by date each time I would make revisions.
Now, before all this happened, Sarah has another website, and
Yeah.
Sarah's other website it'll tell you where somebody is from that's viewing it.
Mhm.
And so Sarah sells art and stuff like that on that website. All of a sudden, Jamie, it became the most popular website in Wuhan, China, and Shanghai.
In Shanghai.
It was hit from Wuhan, China, and Shanghai over and over and over again, almost 100 times in a day.
It is. It's my art. I have an art business and selling galleries in the Southeast, and I like to track what IP addresses are getting hit to see which galleries are receiving interest. And all of a sudden it was Shanghai and Wuhan.
So the conclusion of the forensic expert was that it was invaded, and the manuscripts and all the sources were invaded in the cloud and all destroyed in the cloud by an unknown source. There's no one in the world, people believe, that can do that other than the Chinese. The mistake they made, you asked me what was great about Sarah? Sarah had it all in hard drives. Little suckers didn't wipe out a single thing. And so she had it all saved.
So just a sec, we have these Stalinist, communist forces in China, perhaps in Russia, that are getting to your computer and trying to destroy what you're working on in terms of this book that you just wrote, right?
And
That's
I think
correct.
also trying to learn about the people in Russia in particular and in China that helped us
That
with the
helped
book.
us with the book.
There are accounts in the book, for example, the account of the leak in Saratov that almost killed Stalin. That's a pretty secret account. I don't think it appears almost anywhere except in a few obscure Russian sources in our book.
Did they succeed in destroying anything that you didn't have a backup of?
No, fortunately I had a backup, but I would have been 6 months behind had I not. They deleted 6 months worth of manuscripts, saved manuscripts. And you understand there's constant editing and.
Jamie, they also didn't learn a single source.
Well, that is
Not a
true.
single secret source, because we
We had
never
not
kept them
saved
on the
any of our
cloud.
sources.
Not
in
one
the
of them.
cloud.
Right, so that's in the cloud. I'm just trying to figure out how this works. But if they really also want to, of course, they have a way of even just getting into Word and into the computer and just destroying things if they want to, right?
Exactly what happened. I had saved the manuscript in a flash drive that was in my desk drawer. And that's how I was able to pull out the flash drive and
Right.
install it.
So they're keeping an eye on what scholars are doing in the West, what books they're writing. They know exactly who you are. They know what you're writing about, and they're trying to destroy what you're writing. And they're doing it.
Now I have an IP protection on my computer, but at the time I didn't. And like I say, we have over 650 documented sources. So you can imagine how many sources I referenced to choose 650. I was hitting everything in China relating to COVID and the COVID release and Qi and negligent behavior, and my IP address was flagged.
The conclusion of the forensic examiner that the FBI referred us to was, he said, look, fellas, the Chinese own the cloud. Anything you put on the cloud, Jamie, the Chinese have. And that was what he
Well,
told us.
and that, let's bring it current day. That was as the book was getting published. But even now with Amazon, we're having trouble with verified purchasers, as Amazon calls them, leaving reviews. They'll get comments like this conduct, this, what does it say?
Yeah,
This,
Amazon reached a deal with the Chinese. It was investigated by Reuters and reported by Reuters. There's a long report. The Chinese complained about comments critical of Xi Jinping. And so Amazon agreed they would delete any reviews that were critical of Xi Jinping. Well, I'm sorry, but our book is pretty
very
critical of Big Daddy Xi. And so for a long time, our book was selling well, but there were no reviews being posted. And
It
we
was
thought,
being
what on earth
suppressed.
is going on?
Reviews weren't being
And
allowed.
our friends would try and post and they'd get
Comments that say this subject matter is being,
this review
restricted.
must be verified.
Yeah, it must be from a verified purchaser. But Jamie, these were verified purchasers that were unable to leave a review.
So now that seems to have opened up a little
I
bit
think it
lately,
does.
ever since we began to make an issue out of it.